All right.
Got it.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is our first interview for the Old Ladies Lift Facebook group. I am your host for today. I'm Laarni Mulvey. You guys have seen me live on some of the posts that I've made to get you guys to come on, share your videos, share your stories and everything. And today I have Chandler Mars, the founder of the group. And I'm so glad that we are doing this today because I want to make sure that everyone knows who the founder of the group is and why this group is so important. So Chandler, thank you for being with me today. And thank you for bringing me on as a helper.
Partner, helper. Yes. Thank you for joining. I really was very excited when you said you wanted to help grow this.
Yeah, this is an awesome group. Like I joined in, I can't remember, maybe like a year ago. And it's been an awesome group because there are just so many inspiring stories, so many inspiring, encouraging women in this group. And I think it's really cool. And it's like, we're all here to help each other. So I really, really enjoy that.
Exactly. I do too.
So, okay, let's do the questions. Let's get these out of the way.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So we can talk the fun stuff.
Like what it's like to lift when you're old and female.
Like we were just talking offline about our glasses. We're like looking at
yeah, we can't see.
Okay, so let's get these. Chandler, tell us a little bit about who you are first before we dive into the questions about lifting and stuff. So like tell us a little bit about who you are.
Oh gosh, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm 54. I'm old and I lift. So you've got that point. In my other life, I write and do medical research. I have a book. If anyone is interested, it's highly technical, but it's a good one. It's called Thiamine Deficiency Disease, Dysautonomia, and High Calorie Malnutrition. So mouthful. I write just a whole bunch of articles. I have a website, and aside, in addition to Old Ladies Lift, it's called Hormones Matter, because my original PhD was in endocrinology. And by the topic of my book, I've moved into the mitochondria. So I do that. I write on all sorts of topics. And I started lifting, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, convinced my husband we were gonna do CrossFit, just kind of randomly out of the blue, drug his butt in there. We almost died. He almost died. I shouldn't tell the story, but the first couple of weeks, as most men do, he went way harder than he should. The very first class, he vomited when we got home because being out of shape as both of us are, we shouldn't have done so much. And I pulled back, but he was go, go, go. But anyway, we both adapted and loved CrossFit, and eventually I kind of stumbled into powerlifting and have been with that since. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I've only been powerlifting since 2019. I've been around fitness my whole life, but like the actual powerlifting and getting the barbell in my hands only since 2019.
Exactly. And I didn't either. And so I, you know, as a high school and college student and young adult, I did lift, but it was relative to fitness, and it was relative to, I was a swimmer and a water polo player. So everything I did relative to lifting and in the gym was, you know, kind of the lower weights, higher rep type of things. Mm-hmm. And until I started CrossFit, it never occurred to me, I mean, literally never occurred to me that I should try to lift weight, actual weight, and see how much I could lift. I mean, it was an entirely new concept. And I thought, this is kind of cool. So CrossFit has been good for women, I think, in general, for that, getting them into the sport of not just CrossFit, but into weightlifting and powerlifting as well. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity. But yeah, till I was 47, 48 years old, it did not occur to me to attempt to lift any weights heavily. It was always low weight, high rep. Mm-hmm. And that's what women did.
It's almost like that was the way it was way back in the day. And now it's, I mean, if I could get a barbell in my hand when I was in my 20s, oh gosh, I would
I would have loved it, but I never knew.
Yes.
I had no idea. And in fact, I'm older than you. I'm pre-Title IX. And so a lot of women didn't go to gyms, and it was kind of odd. You can't build any big muscles. You don't want to be unfeminine and things like that. And so there's this whole stigma associated. In fact, I talked to a woman who was in our group who was also, as a young woman, on the Canadian national team for powerlifting. And I remember her telling me that she was not allowed in the gym alone unless her coach was with her. That's how the strict they were with women in gyms. And so
Wow.
a lot of the younger women don't realize that many of us weren't allowed to do this.
Wow.
As yeah.
And that is unbelievable to me. I guess because, like I am younger than you, and it's kind of normal for even for me now. But when I was growing up in the 80s, there wasn't a representation of like women in the gym, like it was that low rep, oh, do this. And it's like,
and the Stairmaster.
Yeah.
The Stairmaster forever. I remember being on the Stairmaster, I think, and you had like a 15-minute limit. So we would cycle on and we go 15 minutes and then we get in line to do it again in 15 minutes and get in line to do it. And that was our workout.
We call that HIIT workouts now.
There you go.
So Chandler, what made you start the Old Ladies Lift Facebook group?
Well, partly my daughter. It started actually, I think, on Instagram. And my daughter's younger, millennials. I have millennials, and she thought it was fun. All of the stories I told. I mean, she's in CrossFit, she lifts and all of that. But as an older woman, I have a lot of struggles in the gym. And many of them are quite humorous. And so we thought we'll just start an Instagram and I'll start posting these things. It'll be fun. And then I thought, after that was going, I thought we should do a Facebook group, just to see, because every time I competed, I was typically the only woman in my age group and weight class and such. And I thought there has to be a few more women out there my age. And so I started a private Facebook group, and I invited the people I knew that were over 40. There were about 30 or 40 of them to start, a few of them actually joined, not very many. And, we just started growing from there. And I remember we got our first 100 people and I thought, that's cool. There's 100 women lifting. And then we got, 200, 500, then 1,000. And it's like, cool, that's gotta be it. There's no more women in the world that are our age and they're lifting. And we're at over 11,000 now. And I would say that the majority of them are in the 50s and 60s. And then we have a fair amount in 70s and 80s. And these are women. Most of them have started older. They didn't start. They lived their lives, they raised their children, they worked, they did, their thing. And, they decided at some point to start lifting and, eventually they find us in our group and compete, but they're doing remarkable things. And so it's been a very fun adventure as we've built this up.
This group is just so cool to me. Like when I see the videos coming on and I'm just like, man, I can't wait to hit those numbers. Like
at that age.
At that age. Even now, I'm like, I can't wait to, I'm like, if she's really strong, I can do it. I can get there. Like in my mind, I keep seeing my progression and I'm just like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get
exactly.
there.
And I think that's the really cool thing about having these physical goals when you're older. I mean, I thought I was kind of done, and obviously I did some fitness things. I swam and I played masters water polo for years, but the thought was you kind of going downhill as you get older. Well, that happens not to be the case in powerlifting. And despite all of the life that we've lived and all of the injuries and all of the illnesses that we've experienced up until the point, we begin lifting, there's quite a bit of progress, and progress that is competitive with women that are half our age. And that I think is important to recognize. And so that's been one of the most positive outcomes of this group, is allowing women to not only own their own strength, but showing others that this is not a novelty, that older women can lift heavy, and they do. So that's the cool part.
And I think that is such a important part of the group. That's why I joined, because it doesn't end, and
No,
it doesn't
yeah,
end. That mindset of, you know what, after I have kids, after I'm married and whatever, that's it. I'm done. Put me in the nursing home. And it's not like that. Like I see the strongman competitors, I see the CrossFitters, I see Highland Games competitors, like in this group. And it is just so amazing to see that there's that representation in that different age bracket, that we're not done yet.
we're
Shoot,
certainly not
we're
done.
not
We've
done.
got another 30, 40 years.
I'm going to do this until my body does crap out on me. And even then, I'm going to get fixed and then start over again.
Exactly. And the numbers are going to keep going up for a while. Now, I suspect after a certain point, they go back down, but they don't stop in your 40s, 50s, or even 60s. I mean, we had a 60-year-old woman who recently deadlifted 500 pounds, a 60-year-old woman. I mean, that's insane. And she's teeny. So
it's so awesome.
and so certainly, and those are numbers that are well beyond most 20-year-olds, and I think that's impressive. So I'd like 20-year-olds to see this as well. And I think that that's important. I mean, my daughter is an example. I mean, she's in her 20s, and she looks at what I and some of the older women do, and she's just constantly impressed, and she knows that she can keep doing this. That's not a model I had growing up, probably not that you had. I mean, so we're changing the perspective of women in sports, I think.
So Chandler, what do you see? And I know that you've transitioned the Facebook group into an oldladieslift.com website, where all the really cool stories of people who submit like their bios and athlete stories. Like, where do you see the Old Ladies Lift group going in maybe the next 3 years? Like, once everything is really built up, like, where do you see the support coming from? Where do you see these women? What if the Old Ladies Lift group hits 5,000 members?
We have 11,000 members.
Oh, okay. So let's say we get into the 6 digits.
Yeah. So, I would like to continue to change the narrative of women's lifting. And I think that's important. But I would also like, with regard to the website and say the YouTube channel and things that we've developed for the outside world, changing the narrative is important, but we need to begin to develop products and services specifically targeted towards women of our age group who are lifting. Most of the products and services are for men or younger women, and that's a real problem. We can go anything from the belts and the wraps and to the just horrible looking singlets, and things like that have been developed over the decades for a different population. I think we need to start looking at things that are marketed more towards this age group. And so that's a direction I'd like to go. But I'd also like to develop programs and insight relative to lifting while older. So among the reasons I started this is because when I was lifting, again, I'm still lifting, but it was based on, I would look at videos, I would look at YouTube videos, and they were either big, hairy men or teeny little women with big butts. And there are a number of very strong women lifters, power lifters that out there, but they're all younger, with the exception of perhaps Jennifer Thompson and a few others. But everything on the internet was geared towards young men for the most part. And those types of examples and programs and such don't always translate to a woman who has had children and C-sections and hysterectomies and all of these abdominal surgeries that change your core muscles, and then other injuries, and a lifetime of things that make her ability to brace and balance and coordinate both sides of her body simultaneously a little bit more difficult, particularly if they're starting from scratch, if they're starting lifting after having a sedentary life, or not having done a lot of physical activity. That's a different program than a 20 or 30-year-old who's been active, or even a 50-year-old man who's been lifting, since his 20s and is adept at powerlifting. There's a lot of things that are missing in the tutorials, if you will, that need to catch up with the times. And so that's kind of the direction I would like to take with it. And I suspect that's a long time coming, because this is a lot of work and I do this in addition to my other job. But, it's a fun prospect.
And I think I love that there are the outlets, like different outlets, resources, because you're right, there aren't much resources for we're in that weird kind of grayish area. I mean, there's at the end, but what a the studies for sedentary, but then what about the people who do, what somebody asked me, why choose this? Why choose weights over just doing fitness cardio? And I was just like, well, first of all, I hate cardio. Let's just get that out there. I hate cardio. But
I actually like cardio, but in the way
I like cardio mixed into training.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Not where we're sitting on the treadmill.
Well, it's boring.
Oh my God.
I like goals, and I think that's the important thing. I think that's what CrossFit captures, or captured for me anyway, was goals, and that's what powerlifting captures is the ability to train towards a goal. It's not just training to lose weight or to have a cute butt or any of those things, which they may be side effects of the training, but I like having goals and I like progressing towards those goals. And I think that's the important thing about this sport and why it's so remarkable for so many older women. It takes it out of that kind of fitness, look good type of thing, where the only thing that's important is what you look like.
Yeah. So wait, how did you get started powerlifting? Did I ask? I don't think I asked you.
Well, yeah. So I did CrossFit for a little while, and then a woman in my gym, we were on the rower, and she had just come back from a powerlifting meet, and she said, I was the only woman in my age group, and you ought to try it. And I knew, and it's like, what's it about? She was squat, bench, deadlift. And I said, do you have to squat? She said, no. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I hate squatting. I suck at squatting. So my first one, I signed up. We had a powerlifting coach that came in to the CrossFit gym and coached weightlifting and powerlifting once a week. And so I asked him if he would help me get ready for a little local meet. And I started once a week and wasn't going to squat. So I was,
you're I am not squatting. I am
not squatting, just so we know. It took him about a year and a half to convince me to start squatting. Even then I didn't always compete in squatting because I have I'm very bad at it in general, but I have a difficult time reaching parallel or below parallel. I just can't do it. In fact, if I get too low, I fall on my butt. So it's hence the funny videos, So so anyway, she said try it, and I thought, okay, this is fun. And I got a couple other the women in the gym, and we did the next powerlifting meet, and I thought, okay, I can do that. And I actually set a few records because again, I was old and there was no one else in my age group. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I should do this. So I continued to do it, and gradually I went from 1 day to 2 days to 3 days to dropping CrossFit to 4 days a week to, and became kind of serious about it.
And now you're here, and now you are here showing us all, these incredible women in this group that it is so possible.
Exactly.
The tagline for the Old Ladies Lift group is ages in
Age is it's inevitable, weakness is not.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that tagline, when I was looking for a group to join, I wasn't going to join, like the younger group because I felt like it wasn't going to connect. But then when I found this group and I saw that tagline, I go, this is it. This is my group.
There you go. You found your people. And that's kind of the key. I mean, you're going to get older regardless.
Yes.
But the question is what you do with it. And so you don't have to become weaker as you get older. You can actually become stronger. And I think that's important.
And it's funny because sometimes right now I hear, like I have a friend of mine who's just like, oh my God, I don't want to age. And I'm like, aging is like, I think there's so many different levels. Yeah. There's so many different levels of like, aging. Yeah, we get wrinkles. Yeah, my hair is turning gray and I color it.
We gain 40 pounds.
Whatever. But you're right. What do you do with it?
Yeah.
What
do you do with it? And I think that's another reason I started the group, the website, everything else, is because I don't think we appreciate women as they get older. And we don't appreciate the strength that they have. I mean, women who start lifting when they're older, women who've made it to an older age, or men too, have survived a lot to get there. I mean, there's strength in their survival. And then to get there and start picking up a barbell and, to start lifting up heavy weights, I think we need to take a step back and just appreciate all that it took for that woman to do what she's doing with the barbell. And so that's why, again, started the group. Want women to think of themselves as strong and to recognize and embrace their own strength rather than kind of put it off because they don't look physically attractive as they did when they were in their 20s. There's beauty in the strength and the wisdom that comes with being older that we just don't recognize. And so again, that's another reason I started the group.
That's why this group is so cool, everybody. It's such a cool group. So Chandler, as we're wrapping up our first ever interview with the founder of Old Ladies Lift, what kind of like words can you tell people, when they see this interview to like put them in a different level or in a different mindset, or, do you have any like awesome, kind, empowering words?
Well, certainly the tagline I think is empowering. In general though, I think you need to kind of own your strength. Just take charge, own your strength. It's there. You may not be able to lift that much right now, but you can lift, and eventually you will lift a hell of a lot more. And it's just one foot in the other, and own the process as you go. And so hopefully, I think by getting to the gym, finding a coach, training, whatever your chosen lifting sport is, because there's different things that you can do, you begin to realize how strong you actually are. And I think that's critical for women's health, women's sanity, yes. World sanity. If women realized how strong they were, maybe we wouldn't be in so many political messes that we are.
I think this community, that especially in the Old Ladies Lift group, it is so like you're saying, like the support of each other and the support of, everyone's got their different levels of strength and nobody criticizes.
Well, every now and then they do, but we kick them out really quickly. It is not tolerated. So unsolicited form critiques or body critiques or anything like that are not allowed. And we've trained the group really well to point it out to us, and we delete those comments immediately. But for the most part, we don't have a problem with it.
For the most part.
Yeah, every now and again, someone will come up, and it's difficult not to critique form if you're an experienced lifter. It really is, because from the bottom of your heart, you want to help this person. But we really have to recognize their strength and their achievement, and not, detract from it by saying, well, if you put your feet a little differently, you'll have a better, or things like that. But, unless they ask for it. And then if they ask for critiques, we have a rule too, that you have to do so positively. We don't allow people to, just negatively rail on a person's form, even when they solicit those comments. So I think that's critical, because a lot of the other groups, if you post a video of you, particularly of a max lift, you get this endless array of trolls, essentially trolls, nonsense trolls, and it just makes you want to not do it anymore, because you're not this pretty perky little perfect lifter. And so that, and I lift ugly. So personally, I want people to tell me how good my lift is and not how ugly it is, right? Doesn't everybody? Yeah, that's my other little slogan in that I started with, is embrace the ugly.
That's a great one. That's a great. But maybe we should have like a shirt with all the hashtags.
All of them. Yeah, maybe we should.
Old lady, yes, all the old ladies lift hashtags, like lift ugly, embrace this,
yeah, all of those things. Yeah, well, because max lifts, every now and again, they're really beautiful lifts. The stars align, and they're particularly gorgeous for some lifters who just have picture perfect technique. But the rest of us, it's an ugly grind sometimes, and the form goes out the window, and everything, but somehow you manage to get that barbell up. And I think that's what we have to appreciate, and that's what we do in the group, is really attempt to appreciate that with everybody else.
I do. I love that. I love that we appreciate each other's strength. And, I think that's really important, especially the wave of, the narrative for women. Like we're strong. We know we are. We have it inside them. We have it inside of ourselves. Maybe we've never tapped it. And now
exactly.
Now it's like, boom, I'm doing this. So I think that's a great
part. And I can do it. Yeah, every time I lift a barbell, I am just amazed that it goes up. Sometimes, specifically my, form aside, but particularly deadlift. Deadlift's my favorite lift. But I look at those weights, and I look at my body, and I understand all of the injuries and weird shit that has happened over my lifetime, and logically, that barbell should not go up, and yet it does, and it goes up repeatedly, and it's just a matter of. Did we lose internet?
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so anyway, so that's the group, that's the website. Everything is relative to excuse me, appreciating the strength of women.
Awesome. Well, Chandler, I want to say thank you again for hopping on this interview with me today. And this just lets people know who you are and why this group is so important, and bringing on their videos and sharing, because that's really one of the big things about this group, is just encouraging everyone. It doesn't matter, again, the whole age is an inevitable thing, let's continue to support each other and, share our strengths and understand that we still got it. We still have it.
We do. We do.
So you guys, okay. This interview will be on the Old Ladies Lift YouTube channel. Chandler and I have already been talking about doing something, and down the road where you guys can listen to the audio, but that's coming. It's all in a work in progress. And you guys, everyone that, is in this group, who have videos, who have stories, everyone has a story, everyone has a video to share from their meets, their competitions, their trainings, anything lifting related. Please share them with us, because it is, again, the part of this group is to share and embrace the strength that all women have, doesn't matter how old you are. So this is a great place to share that kind of information. So I will put all this information on the YouTube show notes, how you can get videos to us, how you can get your bios to us. You guys go on to
how you can get t-shirts.
Get your t-shirts on the oldladieslift.com page. Click on that shop and check out all the really cool gear that's
Shirts,
there,
yeah.
shirts that are there. There was one more thing I was going to say about the page. All the awesome bios are on the first page of most of the ladies that have submitted already. Check out their stories, because they're all really cool and really amazing. So if you have a story that you want to share, click on that athlete bio and you'll see or click on the top where it says athlete bios. You can get the link to share your story and everything, and it'll be up on the Old Ladies Lift page. So Chandler, you got any other words you wanna end us out with or anything?
Just go lift heavy. Lift heavy, lift healthy. There you go.
Awesome. All right, everyone. So I am Laarni Mulvey. Now you guys know who I am. You guys have seen, I gotta stop saying you guys. Everyone. So it's such a bad habit. So everyone, you've seen my face. Now you know that I love to interview people, especially in this group. If there is a story you would like to talk about, share your journey about lifting, let me give you a chance to interview you, and we'll get you on the Old Ladies Lift YouTube page as well. So that's it for today. If anyone has any questions, send Chandler. She's on this side of the Send Chandler a message, send me a message on the Facebook page, Laarni Mulvey, or just go on the Old Ladies Lift page and you could give a contact us request and it'll get to
We'll get there, yes.
Chandler.
I know, so confusing. Right's left and left is right.
All right, you guys. Well, you have a wonderful evening today, and I will talk to you all soon. And, if you are looking to, again, add your story to the YouTube channel, let us know. Add yourself onto the Old Ladies Lift page. Send us a contact, and we will get back to you. So everyone have a great day, and I will talk to you all soon. Chandler,
Bye.
Bye, but
Bye.
Don't hop off yet.
Oh, I'm not hopping off.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.